Hello? Hi, everyone. Hey, Christmas is on the back of the chair. I meant to move that. Hi, everyone. Is everything coming through okay? Does it look alright? Am I kind of synced up? Can you see Marty? As always, giving equipment, even the tiniest of breaks, breaks everything, basically. But it should all be working now, apart from the fact that Marty's moved a bit off centre in the camera, but that's always going to be an issue, isn't it? Happy New Year. I can't even say it. That's spoiled the year, hasn't it? Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, he's listening to me. I think he's listening out for Rach coming home, but that's probably not going to be for a little while. Is it all alright? Oh yeah, my chat thing doesn't update, does it? Should I put it up on the screen? I know that I've gone off the screen right now. Because I'm in the screen that lets me add things. I could put the chat up on the screen. See if that works. Although, it's just an empty box at the moment. The chat thing's a little bit temperamental for some reason. But hopefully I'm coming through all right. I need to pop that chat out so that I can see it better. Because my streaming program's not showing it me. Hopefully we're all coming through all right everywhere. Hey, there's some chat. I'm pointing at the wrong bit, aren't I? I'm pointing at where it actually is. Hi, everyone. You coming through okay? It's all right. It went dark for a minute, but that's okay. That was intentional. It all has to go off. Hopefully, all of the other cameras. There's a table here. Things a bit differently, rather than a browser window. But hi, everyone. So, I do this Games of the Month thing, talking about what we did last month, in case you missed any videos, and then... Oh, Marty's gone. Oh. Well, it was me moving around. I don't know if you think's Rach just come home. Well, that was nice, wasn't it? We can now enjoy the standard kind of empty box that we have got on most of the streams of like the second half of last year. Since he's like he must demand more dreamies or something. He wants more treats. So I'm getting notifications saying that she read about, hey, there's meant to be more games on the upcoming vote, which is another thing we talk about in the Games of the Month. But DPD still have them. They still have them. One of them's still going in the vote. One of them's Frostpunk. They've been messed up because too many people used them. They're a delivery company in the UK, and they've had a couple of things which can only be games for about 3 weeks or so now. I get several notifications every single day saying it's coming today, it's definitely coming today, and then around this time, nah, it's not coming. So who knows when we're going to get to them. I'm going to put Frostpunk on the vote because I'm assuming at some point in the next month they're going to get that to me, and yeah, I know what that one is. The other one, like, I'm not quite sure what it is. It can only be a game, though, because that's the kind of stuff that I get. Who knows, though? But hi, everyone that is here. And that all my messing about has meant that I've missed all the chat and stuff. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hopefully all the Patreon names and everything are working at the start as well. But yes, I need to always remember that patreon.com/slickerdrips is the way that it is funded. Thank you so many people for helping out with that and making the channel exist. 'Cause it's nice when it exists, isn't it? It's not nice seeing Christmas all slung off to the side now, is it? I'll still be wearing the jumper. But yeah, let's make it all bigger and better and do more things this year, which will be helpful. Like, I don't know if you know, but I do this part-time still, kind of wrestling with my job, and yeah, it would be nice to do more of this, but that all depends on the Patreon stuff. Hey, there's a lot of games covered on this channel. They get really, not only do they take up Kallax cubes by themselves now, they're really expensive, aren't they? As well as all the time to make them and stuff. Your support would be massively appreciated, and if you are a patron, is already appreciated. Thank you, everyone. So let's talk about things. Let's talk about 2022, just from a channel perspective, rather than a general perspective, because, hey, let's not talk about that. But yeah, I feel like it went really, really well. Kind of looking back at the end of the year and doing all of me daft numerical accounting, looking at stats and things, yeah, the stuff always shows like, hey, there's more people, it's getting watched a little bit more. It's like always on a steady increase, which is lovely. But like from the perspective of making the things, I feel like I want to say a lot got made, but I never feel like enough gets made. Like there's been weeks this year where the coming up picture that I make to put up, it's had like I've had to make all the pictures really small so I could fit them all in, and every single week I think like this isn't enough, I can't put this picture up. Like things take ages to get made. Even like I've looked back to kind of see the stats that I was talking about this time last year, where I was saying that I'd done a ridiculous amount of, it was a lot of streaming I think in 2021, like it was mainly streaming and not many recorded things, and I was like I need to cut down, and I think I have a little bit, but like in the number of the kind of time that it would take to watch it all is reduced. But then I look at the number of playthroughs that went up and it's the same, so I haven't really cut down at all. It's not so that there would be less on here, but I think that sometimes it's to a point where, like especially around Essen, you can't really help it around Essen, but a lot of the games it's like, hey, this is like the first or second time I've played this, and here's me showing it to you. It would be nice to have played it a bit more, or maybe like feature it a bit more, which I do really like. The best, well, there was a lot of good things, but one of the things I really liked was doing some of the series, like Hadrian's Wall continues, but like the Scythe Rise of Fenris, not only was it great getting to play that for the first time, but doing like an ongoing thing, and the Eldritch Horror things, kind of tying in with little obsessions that went on. I want to do another video actually. I don't know if I'll have time, of like, it's heartbreaking cutting down 2022 into 10 games when there was so many amazing ones that like just got cut off. I was trying to be strict with myself this year though. I want to do another one talking about other things, but another kind of something that wouldn't make the top 10 because hey, it came out ages ago, everyone played it nearly 10 years ago. But yeah, Eldritch Horror was a big kind of discovery for me. Not that, you know, I played 2nd edition and 3rd edition, love 2nd edition, and actually I really like 3rd edition now. I've come around. I've changed. I can accept it. But yeah. Oh, hey, the chat on my screen's suddenly working again. It was the year of Rach as well. Yes. Oh well, like, yeah, definitely. Like the things change based on like. In the last few months, we've had a bit less time, kind of because of Essen, but because Rach as well. In the last few months, has been particularly busy with work. She's always been. Busy with work. Hey, that's teachers, right? But yeah, it's been particularly so in this new year. But hopefully, we're gonna be doing something quite soon. I don't think we're gonna do any more Frosthaven. We are like I'd like to if something particularly interesting comes up, but if it happens later on, then there's the increased chance of spoilers. I think. Like, if we were to unlock, say, like, we designed a couple of scenarios that are in Frosthaven, and if we get to those, like, I'm not even sure how they come about. Like, that part wasn't in it, of course. Like, you'd have to know all of the inner workings of how everything unlocks, wouldn't you? But yeah, we designed all of the story and the stuff that happens on that. But yeah, hopefully we unlock it and play it. I suppose we have played it, but it'd be different, like, playing it for real. So maybe we'd stream something like that with a kind of spoiler warning, maybe cut out the events and stuff, but maybe, like, so many people designed, like, scenarios. Maybe we should stream, like Paul Grogan designed one, didn't he? It'd be nice to stream his, but like, what if we get stuck and we look daft? Like, I think I have in. I don't really mind. I think I've looked daft in both of the Frosthaven playthroughs, making poor decisions. Rach had to carry me through the second one because I just died from wasting all my cards and then getting hit too much. We have played it. We've been playing it in our little Christmas mini break when we've been about, and I think we're going to play it tonight actually, because that's another plus as well. That's like, Rach usually, after being at work all day, isn't necessarily in the mood to be playing board games. But we did loads back when Gloomhaven came out. It was just on the table permanently, which was a problem because it was the only table we had. Didn't used to have like a separate room for stuff. But yeah, like it's cool that Frosthaven's coming out at nights and stuff, and we're going to make a big crack at our campaign. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed like just from a viewer perspective or a patron perspective and stuff, it's hard, isn't it? Like, I do this on my own. I'm in a bit of a vacuum. I assume though, like generally, if you're about, I assume you like it or like some of it. Hey, I'd be lucky if you liked all of it. So last year it wasn't it? So, you bought. Was it the first time you had Scythe, Matt? So like, yeah, I had it just like I had it way back when. Like it's one of the first videos on the channel, I think. But like, for whatever reason, space probably, and we weren't playing it. We weren't going to play it 2-player. Got rid of it. Got it back. So after like 6 or 7 years of not playing it, hey, oh wow, this is amazing. Yeah, we've still got a couple more Hadrian's Walls to do, haven't we? But yeah, I don't know what else. Like I think Dawn of Peacemakers was a really good suggestion. Hey, there it is. You can see it kind of in the background, while some games are almost in the background, behind the Stotts and Lloyd Grossman and Mulligan and O'Hare, who are also blocking off Agents of Smirch. I'd like to do that at some point as well. But yeah, we'll be doing some more ongoing things. It's just hard, like trying to juggle, like I want to keep like consistent stuff going, but yeah, every time I do like a recorded thing, it means that I can't do a live thing. Like it takes longer to make and then a shorter thing's going off. But sometimes it's nice having some recorded things in the pocket. It's all rough. Like it's very at time. It's lovely looking back at all the stuff that happened. But as you can imagine, it is very anxiety inducing if you're me and overthink things as well. Seem like, is the right stuff getting done? Is enough stuff getting done? There isn't enough time in the world. But hopefully, yeah, we'll continue to strive for a balance. I think, from my perspective, it was the most enjoyable year of doing it. But yeah, it's always stressful, like doing your own thing and having like a crowdfunded thing as well. Make sure everybody's happy and that more people would want to join up. I put a goal back on as well, which I did do last year, kind of inspired by Paul of Gaming Rules. It's like, hey, goals are good, give one a go. And I did, and then like we didn't get to it, and it kind of started decreasing as well, which is rough, isn't it? Because you're trying to encourage a Patreon in like a pretty rough financial time. I get it, but we'll give it a go. Like we need to do like, I don't know what we should do if we reach like 200 patrons though. Should we do like a big like top, I don't know what, top 100? What did I do last time? It was years ago now. I did like a top 50. I think that was to celebrate the launch of the Patreon. But like it would be nice to refresh that because a lot's changed, I think. It'd be interesting to see if like the top 10 had changed. I'd like to know what, like, we should do like some kind of collective top games as well. Maybe just for 2022, maybe of all time. I'll stop rambling about things though. Harrison, you burnt all your Christmas money, £200 on games last week, and why not? Why not? There's so much, like, I have spent. I didn't get any Christmas games money, but I have spent a lot of money on, like, I just keep telling myself, it's for the channel, But, yeah, there's so much cardboard coming and going. I mean, you've heard a lot about Scythe but never played it. Oh, yeah. If you enjoy it, like hopefully I did just a plain Scythe playthrough as well, like at some point last year. I did one in 2016, but it had mistakes and stuff, and it's a bit rougher. There's a new, improved, refreshed one that I hope would give you a good idea. And who said Matt said about Sidekick? Absolutely. I use Sidekick all through the Rise of Fenris playthroughs. But it's an amazing little app. Really makes the solo stuff dead easy. Yeah, I enjoyed Golem solo. I think it was a bit easy, but there were difficulty levels to like increase it. I think. James, you got Atua. Like they're like. There's loads, like, I think things that we played at GridCon, really. Atua, the Steffenfeld City Collection games that have kind of eluded me for now. Like, Atua's about, but I still can't get those Steffenfeld games. Like, some of the things that get left off the... I did put a little picture up, didn't I, early in the top 10 of, like, here's all the games I haven't got or I haven't got to yet. All of those Steffenfeld games are in that. Just Can't get them for love nor money. Right, I should stop going on about myself and talk about some games. What happened in December all those years ago? Why isn't Marty coming back? I wonder if he can hear like the radiators coming on and he's just gone to go sit somewhere nice and warm. It's pretty warm in here though, to be fair. The chat is updating on my little screen here after a while, but it isn't scrolling down. I've got to keep an eye on that. So in December, I'll try and run through these. There was a solo playthrough for Wingspan Asia, a new standalone expansion to Wingspan. So you can just play this as a 1 or 2 player box, and it includes a new duet mode where you want to put birds out with certain attributes that will let you put tokens out on a central board that will give you bonuses and things. Hey, Marty's in here. He wants to go in the window. There's no room for him in the window. You should know this. At Mansions of Madness, there's a little series of that happened that wrapped up in December. Like there may be more. Maybe we'll make that a Halloween thing. That's ages off though, isn't it? Like I did Mansions of Madness. Like I rushed it for Halloween because I really, really wanted it to go up. Like the first episode to go up on Halloween, but the others weren't ready. So there was a bit of a gap in them. In case you missed the thing finishing, next series, I'll try and have it all like filmed and edited ahead of time. But they're big things. There was an unboxing of Oathsworn, which is enormous and ridiculous. And I've since played it a fair bit in December, and it was one of my favourite games of the year. But you can see me open the box and rattle around a load of stuff. There was a solo playthrough of Marvel Champions. Again, did this one way back when it came out. Thought it was okay. I preferred Arkham. Don't think much of this. Need some story. I've since over 2022 got it back. Got some expansions for it. Really, really enjoyed it and got many expansions for it. Wolverine is part of the new X-Men series, the latest kind of phase of Marvel Champions, if they have phases. Oh, there's an empty shelf where I've got all of these games. That's where Marty keeps jumping in. He's here now, though. But yeah, you can see Wolverine take on Magneto in a lovely battle for the ages in Marvel Champions, and there'll be a Storm one coming up fairly soon as well. Side the Rise of Fenris. Hey, there it is. That wrapped up in December. Chapter 8 should come up at some point. So there's 2 playthroughs of base game Side. There's 8 playthroughs of the Rise of Fenris. There's tons of Scythe to sink your teeth into. Arkham Horror the card game came back because a huge expansion campaign came out. The Scarlet Keys that we have been playing a fair bit. Rach and I have done a full campaign of it, just 2-player or 4-player game group, although we pretty much had a month, Christmas, people have got commitments and things. Getting 4 people together is more difficult. So we pretty much had a month off from that, but we got back into it this weekend. So we played a fair old chunk of that, most of another campaign. So I did this, the first. So it's like an open world, not open world, but open-ended, non-linear campaign, rather than the old ones where you go through a set of scenarios. Here you have a prologue that's always the same story, the same introduction, but from there we get to make our own choices. Oh, Marty, just lie nicely. You decide where you're going in the world. There's a great big world map, and it might take you to some story, it might take you to a scenario. So you can see Kamani Jones take on the prologue in proper solo Arkham Horror the card game. Something else I've been loving in 2022. Wayfarers of the South Tigris has arrived. People have it. So I did another solo playthrough of that where I did abysmally. I think we need to do another one at some point so I can clear my name. Frosthaven. There we go. We talked about it a bit already. Gloomhaven is my favourite thing. Frosthaven, I'm enjoying even more. It's Gloomhaven with more bits. We are getting kind of really punished. We have managed, we haven't lost yet, but every time, I'd say more so than Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven was never just a walk in the park, but I'd say Frosthaven much more so. We're this halfway through, this is not happening, and we just managed to scrape through it by the skin of our teeth at the end, which is pretty satisfying, really. But it's pretty harrowing. Hey, you should see our outpost now. Things are happening in it. Stickers are being put on places. It's amazing. And as well as a couple of playthroughs for Frosthaven. You can see me talk about inserts, official inserts for it. There's an official folded space one. Hey, it's all foam and stuff, but it's all colourful and things now. And they do an amazing map archive. Hey, I did another, so like chapter 2 of the Scarlet Keys is kind of a mystery. I show you how the travel works. We travel to some places. We have a scenario. That's what episode 2 has. There's also the Laser Rocks insert. This is in the order the videos came out, so it's a bit janky. Should have just grouped them, shouldn't I? The Laser Rocks insert for Frosthaven is a wooden insert. There are a couple of versions. There's one with tuck boxes for all the monsters, and there's one with a great big wooden sliding box of monsters. That's the one I've got to show you off. It's my favourite of the two. Not that it didn't have a few little criticisms of this one, but yeah. The Laser Rocks one is what me Frosthaven's in right now. I don't know why that didn't move. And the Frosthaven playthrough, you can see scenario number 2. Yeah, we do scenario number 1 and number 2. And the last stream of last year, Rach joined me and we did some Fighting Fantasy. We haven't actually gotten to the end of this. Like, oh, that camera's not on, is it? Our bookmark's in there. I don't know, maybe we'll return to it. If you fancy it, if you're fighting fancy it. But Crystal of Storms by Rihanna Pratchett, really enjoyed it. What we've done so far in it, hey, there I am. The top 10 board games of 2022. It's always a biggie. Reducing an amazing year for games down to just 10 things. With usually I'm cheating and putting multiple things in one entry and putting loads of honourable mentions. I'm pleased that I managed to stick to 10 this year. You can watch that if you haven't already. It'd be brilliant. And what else? Yes, Scythe the Rise of Fenris finished. Macau. Hey, Macau's really old. It's been updated now. It's Amsterdam. But I haven't got that. I have got Macau, and enterprising user of Board Game Geek has come up with solo rules for it. So we've got a solo playthrough of Macau, and I think that is the last thing. I think that came out on New Year's Eve. There we go. That's December. So, as Marty is now with us, we're allowed to progress and continue. I think the chat's going to be in the way of my face now. Yeah, I'll have to adjust that a little bit. How can I do that? What if I just make my head smaller? There we go. Then I don't have to make all the screen dark and stuff. So, the other thing that we do in Games of the Month, I don't know why this camera's so dark. Now we'll have to fix that for tomorrow's playthrough. Hey, Endless Winter's coming tomorrow. One of the other things we do is talk about the vote. We have a vote for what is going to get kind of priority to get played through in January, as much as I can fit in, really. And I think, yeah, it's all new arrivals that some of them should have arrived a lot earlier than they did. Some of them might have made it into the top 10 video if they had arrived, but they didn't, and we can talk about them now. We should probably do like some kind of update. Like, do you consider these 2023 games now, or does there need to be like an update to the 2022 video at some point? Who knows? But the options for the playthrough vote this month are Paperback Adventures. Paperback was a deck building word game where you would have to spell out the longest words using like some common cards and cards you were drawing from your deck, and you would use the points from the words that you made to buy new cards with new letters in, so you could make better and better words, trying to make longer and longer ones. This is the same kind of concept as that, but this is a solo or two-player game that takes the basic word game and turns it into a deck building roguelike game, which, think like Slay the Spire is a deck building roguelike game. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly like that, but that's the kind of flavour that it's going with. I should have got the other things as well as the core box, because you have to have this core box to play and one of 3 possible kind of storybooks that plug into it as well. It's got like game trays, it's got fancy stuff, it's got like character progression and things. I'm really looking forward to it. Paperback Adventures. Oh, thanks, Steve. See you soon. So, paperback adventures is one thing. Next up, and these are in order of box size because they're in a great big pile next to me. Final Girl. It's a game of 2023 as far as I'm concerned. There was like a tiny opportunity to buy it last year. I think one place had copies at the expo and sold out way before we got to the stall. They had all of the boxes, so this is another one where you need the core box and an episode they're like supposed to be like video boxes. It would be amazing. I'd probably cost prohibitive. It would be amazing if they were in like plastic VHS boxes, but that's the feel that they're going for. So this is Hostage Negotiator is the basic system, which is a solo game that I've loved for quite a while, really. But the main downside of Hostage Negotiator is it can get quite heavy with the kind of subject matter. Not that Final Girl isn't. This is you are the final girl in a horror movie. The killer has been rampaging, and rather than just give in, once the final girl becomes the final girl, she gets all of the resolve to take things into her own hands and take on the killer. So you are that final girl. You are trying to save people from being victims and defeat the killer. Each of the boxes has got a couple of final girls that you can be, and a villain and a location. So like they're like little magnetic things. You can see like the boards come off here, which works okay, but it also means the box is never like quite shut. But yeah, this is the kind of, I want to say, well, it's not my legal problem, is it? You might notice the horror films that they're referencing. This is Nancy, and she's going against Dr. Fright, the Dream Doctor. Would you like to see some kind of Final Girl stuff? I've also got I got a little book that gives you kind of some backstory to some of the things, but also gives you like loads of configurations to play with, because I think you can plug loads of it in. You could play Nancy against a different villain in a different location, and everything's got loads of extra cards, so the villains are always going to act in different ways and things. Looks like we've played actually 2-player solo, which works quite well. And Rach really enjoyed it as well. I wonder if she'd join us for a live stream of it. Next up is Turing Machine. Yes, it just about says Turing Machine. Which, hey, this did arrive today. This is a parcel that turned up in time. This is a logic puzzle with a kind of, well, not mechanical, an analog card-based computer, where you will be presented with a load of kind of, not so much questions, questions like verifiers. You will kind of guess a code. You will guess, is it a 3-digit code? And feed the number that you think it is into a particular verifier that the game has generated for you, and it will tell you like, well, it will be like, there should be more odd numbers than even, like, with your code. Is that true? I don't know if I'm giving a great example of that there, but you want to be the first to deduce the secret code. I don't know that this is going to end up getting played multiplayer at all, because Rach isn't into logic games at the best of times, but I am into logic games. I'm into puzzles, and like if I end up enjoying this, they do like a daily puzzle online. Like the book's got a load of setups in it in the box, but on the internet I think you can get tons more setups for it. It seems really cool from the puzzle game side, but also from the punch card computer side. I think that's really cool. The downside with not using a browser is you gotta physically heft boxes everywhere. Next up, I see this mentioned everywhere. It is Heat, Pedal to the Metal, which I think is not so much a sequel, like it uses some gameplay things from Flamme Rouge, which I have to say, like, I only played it once, years and years ago. I wasn't so hot on it, but this is like used a modified thing. Like I don't think you've got 2 decks anymore, and there's kind of modules and stuff that you can plug in. And a big plus for this is car racing, done with I don't know if it's deck building, but another big plus for this is that it includes like a really easy AI system where it just tells you like the however many AI cars you've got in the game, they move this much. So it's really easy to handle and gives you like a nice, fun, competitive race, even if you're just playing it solo. But yeah, it seems like this got raved about towards the end of last year. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a go. Do you want to see some heat pedal to the metal? It's heavy. Another thing that arrived today. Alexander Pfister. Does that mean it's going to win the vote? Usually they do. So we'll see. This is Sky Mines. This is a re-implementation of Mombasa, which I did play whichever year that came out, when we used to have a local game shop and we went to that game group. I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Really, I don't really remember anymore, but I think it wasn't Mombasa like 3+ players, so that's a reason that we never played it again or got it ourselves. But yeah, it's now co-designed with Victor Kobilk, and yeah, another one that got raved about loads, turned up on some top 10 lists. Alexander Pfister knows how to design a meaty Euro, and looking forward to seeing this kind of improvement, this re-implementation of a game of his that was like mechanically popular, thematically questionable, but hey, now it's in space and we're mining stuff. And all the final girl stuff's falling over on the shelf because it's supposed to be supported by Starship Captains. Hey, it finally arrived. I went on and on about this at the expo and pre-Essen, didn't I? But I didn't have a copy to tell you more about. This is designed by Tabletop Together's own Peter Hofgaard, and it is a bit of a lighter Euro, but we are basically Star Trek in sci-fi episoding around the world, fulfilling missions, trying to please various factions and stuff, moving people around our spaceship. There's some limited worker placement based on the color of the worker. They can do different actions or participate in different missions. The more you want to kind of contribute, the more rewards you will get in there. It's a really, like it even says on the box actually, 25 minutes per player. I would say so. Like, we had a 3-player game at the UK Games Expo with a non-final copy, and I'd say yeah, like a 3-player game took us 90 minutes or so. That's with it being our first game as well. Like a really speedy, fun experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing the final version because we really enjoyed what we played there. So you got Starship Captains as a Trekkie you couldn't refuse. Yeah, I think that there are a ton of little Easter eggs and references built into the artwork of the game as well as kind of the inspiration for the theme itself. And finally, go on, give it a go. I think the other things will get the most votes, but maybe you'll surprise me. This is Peter Pan. You won't find it on Board Game called that, though. It's called Pan's Island on Board Game Geek. And I think I talked about this. Did I talk about it in the Essen video? I had my eye on it for there, because whenever there's any kind of deduction game, it pricks my ears up. And this is, themed around, Captain Hook, Peter Pan, all of that stuff. We are playing a cooperative game where we've got a hand of clues that we can't tell the other people about. And you can ask them about the clues and vaguely tell them how accurate their question is, like a bit hazy as to the exact nature of our questions. You draw on the dry white board to find the lost children, and you've got a little personal map to avoid pirates. Like I first thought, I suppose because it's the same publisher and it's got pens and dry white boards, I thought it was something to do with Treasure Island when I first saw it in the Essen preview. But no, it's not. And it's got a campaign mode included in the box, which is cool, but at the same time, like, kind of down to me not being able to revisit games as much. I think like campaign time, Frosthaven's eating that up, Oathsworn's eating that up. Like, I don't get to play as many campaigns on other things. There's a campaign in Revive that I've only played a tiny bit of. I want to unlock all of Revive. Maybe I should just jump into these things at some times. But yeah, a bit of a one you might not have heard of. James, you hadn't heard of this one. It was hard for me to find actually, because like it won't come up on the Board Game Geek search, but that's because it's still called Pan's Island on there. Maybe it's called Pan's Island from a different publisher, or it's from like different territories. It's got different names. I'm not really sure. I think it looks lovely. It sounds cool. It's maybe a deduction game that Rach might like. She does enjoy it. It's logic puzzles that Rach isn't a fan of. She enjoys some deduction. She really enjoyed Awkward Guests. I really enjoy the logic puzzle aspect of them, though. So there we go. That is not all of the games. That is 7 of the games. The 8th one is Frostpunk, which I don't have because DPD have got it in a depot that's about a 5-minute drive away that I'm not allowed to go and get. But I'm hoping that the 3-week hold they have on it is going to be up soon and it will be with us. Frostpunk is a video game. Hey, you could get a taste of it now. It's a game where it's a base building game, basically. You are the overseer of this town. It's kind of post-apocalyptic. We're making London in the middle of an iceberg and everything goes wrong, basically. Everything you try and do to make people be able to survive this horrible, harsh environment, you need to go and go on expeditions to try and find resources, to research more buildings and things, but things will constantly go wrong. You will be forced to make decisions all the time, loads of tough decisions. And generally, in my limited experience with the game, you will generally try your hardest, and then the people will get fed up with you and turf you out, so that someone else can do a better job. The board game, I think, is like it's trying to represent that. It's distilling all of the many systems into cardboard. It looks beautiful. We saw it all laid out at GridCon. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and yes, as far as I know, a copy ain't far away, and I'm really looking forward to digging into it. But as I say all of that, I'm like, well, I'm looking forward to digging into all of these things. Is Final Girl the only? Yeah, Final Girl is the one that we have dug. I don't think we've dug into Final Girl. We've nibbled into it a little bit. We've played like a couple of configurations, but yeah, there's tons and tons and tons to be playing. Like, just like how are we gonna get these things in? I would do like a morning stream of Turing Machine and do the daily puzzle. I think it'd be pretty early though for people in different time zones. But yeah, they are going to be the options for the vote. So the vote is going to go up on Patreon in a little bit after this stream, basically. Yeah, the thing that gets the most votes is going to get top priority for the month. Other than that, Endless Winter is happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. GMT UK time, and we will play a bit of the solo mode. I think it's going to just be the base game, but we're going to do the expert mode, which, like, I've found that I've played only with the stuff that was in the box. I didn't know there was this other stuff online because I didn't look just when I was having a learn of it. That yeah, the built-in solo mode, even its hard mode, was pretty easy. So I feel like expert is probably going to stomp me, which maybe is the way that it should be. So we're going to be playing some Endless Winter. There is a playthrough of Agents of Smirsh. Hey, there's Agents of Smirsh in the background. There's a playthrough of that coming up on Friday. And maybe there's going to be a playthrough of this one, the epic one, some point soon after that. Just break in and get it. I'd like to. I suppose like they're overrun. Like it makes sense that they don't want someone there mucking about, but just be like, hey, you have 2 of my parcels at least. Like I'm right here. I could save you loading it up and delivering it. But yeah, if your systems aren't set up to do that, they aren't set up to do that, are they? So we're just gonna have to wait. Now, like, one might actually be like we've both got, I'm not sure what delivery services either one are using, but yeah, Rach, there's a Christmas present for Rach and for me from Rach that are both waiting. So at least that's fair, innit? One each is tied up. So we'll get a nice little, hopefully, January surprise. Maybe they'll turn into Valentine's Day presents at this point, or next year's Christmas presents might be the worst case scenario. But yeah, there's loads and loads of things coming up. Just in general, I think maybe there were such good things in December, and like in January's votes, like I want to try and do as much as I can. Like maybe February's should be like more from those options repeating. I always want it to be like brand new things, but it means so many games get left behind because you can only do a few from the votes, and I feel like some of them need to get back. Like I really need to cut down as well, like because of these piles of new arrivals and things that arrived in the tail end of last year as well. Things are piling up and overflowing again, and I need to not have games all over the house, really. So I'm going to have to make some heartbreaking decisions, because I think the last time that I cut down a big chunk of stuff last summer, it was getting really, really tough, and I don't know how I'm going to part with some stuff at this point. I think, like, I don't know, sometimes I think, like, oh, maybe I should do a video of, like, do the, like, well, I wouldn't do rating my collection. I want to watch Paul Grogan's video of rating his collection. I wouldn't want to rate him because I'd find it too difficult. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a look around at some of these things, especially if some stuff that I really love is going away, because there's plenty of stuff back there, some of the older things that have just never got playthroughs and might never at this rate. But there's loads of stuff like Forge War that I just think I'd never want to get rid of that. But realistically, it takes hours and hours and hours, and I don't know when I'm ever going to get it played again. Like, I could say that about loads and loads of games, though. Like, there's just so much that I want to keep it all, but just got to be harsh and realistic about it. Really, I should get Rach to do it. I should get someone else to do it, and they would have a much, much easier job of doing it. But yeah, you just got to get into the frame of mind about it, haven't you? Like, that's what it was last year. That's like a few weeks before getting any of them ready, I'd be like, no, I don't want to get rid of any. But once you're kind of in that mindset of, once you start seeing the space that it reveals as well, you're like, okay, well, that's there's a big upside to it, in that I can see the floor now. I can see the shelves that these piles of games were obscuring. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some good playthroughs done. Bigger and better things. Like, yeah, I don't want to say more playthroughs, because I want there to be less playthroughs, but better ones. Or maybe, like, we do a game a few times rather than just once. I don't know, though. It's all very difficult to try and kind of make sense of. Like, yeah, I don't want it to... It's just hard. I want there to be stuff that you want to watch, basically, but I also want there to be a manageable amount that I don't go mad trying to do, because yeah, when I look through, it's hard, like, judging. Like last year I was talking all about, like, the number of hours of video that got made, that, like, oh, it was so many, and then in 2021 it was a ridiculous amount, because, like, just so much got made, and I was live for most of that year, I think, which makes the videos longer anyway. So it's hard to judge, like, because as soon as you are doing pre-recorded videos, they are shorter, but they took much longer to make than a live video did, although you've got, like, the added time of getting the live stream ready, like, which I know this one might not seem like it takes as long, but setting up a game and making sure the camera works for it is surprisingly difficult. I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, quality, not quantity. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Because really, I don't know. I want there to be... It's because there's all of these games, basically, that I just see, like, oh, if you do a game a week, there's going to be even more that passes you by, but you can't see and play everything. And I can't cover everything. There's stuff as well in the kind of yearly... It has become yearly at the moment. It's like cutting down, that there's a load of sealed things that I just have to face that this is never going to happen. Like, I'll maybe get it back at some point in the future, and it'll all be great. But for the foreseeable future, I am not. Even if I open this game, I'm not going to have time to play it because there's all of this other stuff to go. But luckily, I'm really excited about all of that other stuff too. So yeah, it's a good position to be in, really, isn't it? But yeah, it's you never know what's quite right or what to do. I would like to have, as there's been a couple of years now where we haven't really. Well, actually, 2021 had 6 Q&As. Last year we only did 1 for the anniversary, which comes up at the end of April. I'd like to do them more regularly as well. Like, hopefully Rach would join us for them, because it's nice just having a chat. We do a bit on these recaps and some of the live things anyway, don't we? But it was nice having a regular Q&A and stuff. And just having a sit down. Like, maybe some of those things will come back. And I say this every year as well. Like, I didn't get put off top 10s last year. I definitely did the year before. But, like, whenever I make the yearly top 10, I realise, like, oh, this was really fun. And people really like top 10s. So, like, okay, I'd like to make more of them. It never happens, though. Playthroughs, they don't get in the way because they are the thing that I make. But, yeah, it's it ends up taking a load of the time. But I would like to do some more top 10s and things. Maybe we'll get some stuff on Patreon of, like, suggesting topics again, which I used to do ages ago. But yeah, I'd like to do some kind of top 10. There needs to be like an anticipated 2023, right? Because there's going to be even more amazing things coming out this year. We should talk about them, get a head start on them. I would like to do something as well where it's like, I never look back at what I do with those anticipated lists. Like, I made one last January. I've got no idea what was on it. I assume Frosthaven was on it and Seize the Bean. I wonder if I could like name all 10 of them. Yeah, it'd be interesting going back and comparing what my top 10 of that was, what my top 10 anticipated of Essen was, and what do I think now that we've played them all. My top 10 board game boxes to sit in. He has to be forced. He wants to, like, I don't know, because he's not allowed in board game boxes really, but I suppose he is because we want to take pictures and stuff. But if you leave a Kallax cube half empty, or take some games off a shelf for a stream, he'll be in it. We just need to get some board game boxes on there. He did go in the Frosthaven one though, didn't he? Just not voluntarily. The boxes that the games arrive in, like the shipping boxes, he's straight in them. But actual board game ones, he's not fussed for some reason. Hey, Gemway, Happy New Year. No, he's never... I think he's maybe been placed in the Isle of Cats box. The one box lid that's kind of specifically for cats to go in. He's been strategically placed in there, but I don't think he even stayed long enough to get a picture of him or anything. There he is. Yeah, hopefully more Marty in 2023 as well. More Glass Marty. Yeah, Glass Marty needs to turn up in even solo videos and stuff. He needs to be about, doesn't he? There you go. Happy New Year from Little Glass Marty. Although that was like... I haven't got kind of hard stats for any of the years really, but I feel like he was a bit absent in 2021. There weren't as many 2-player Little Glass Marty playthroughs, but there were more in 2022, I think. Oh, there he is, showing you his belly a bit, having a bit of a stretch. But yes, the playthroughs, they haven't really gone away, have they? Because there was pre-recorded ones. There was ones uploaded in the last week where we were kind of having a break, visiting family and Christmassy things, which is kind of a break, but also there's driving and travel and stuff, isn't there? When they're going to bring teleportation, they could teleport some of my games to me from wherever they're being holed up in that warehouse. But yeah, there hasn't been a gap of playthroughs, has there? There's been a gap of live though, so that's going to return. Well, it's returning now, isn't it? This is live right now. This is life. But yeah, Endless Winter is going to be coming at you live about the same time tomorrow. Well, actually, it's actually going to be at 4 p.m. Sorry for changing this at the last minute. Things weren't working. Panics were happening. But hey, it pretty much happened, didn't it? Booth with Real versus Glass Marty. He's never that fussed about Glass Marty. Which is lucky, actually, because he knocks everything off tables. Lucky he's never done that with his glass self. Normally, like, if they ever touch, they both disappear. See if he's bothered. Marty? Not even a nose rub. Not even a nose rub against it. Maybe it smells familiar enough that he's not bothered about making it smell any different, or he just didn't want to be disturbed. It's more likely, isn't it? He's nice and fast asleep. Yeah, it smells exactly like him, doesn't it? It is him. So of course he's not going to be fussed with it. Hopefully more. He's got like, that is kind of his bed. It's just a little blanket. That's supposed to be ours as well. We got him a little one and he's not bothered about it. Hey, Heroic Logic. How's it going? Happy New Year. So my multi-stream bit, I can't have both of the chats on the screen at the moment. There's meant to be something in my streaming software that merges the chats, but it doesn't update until ages after the fact. So then when I switch a window, I see, oh, there has been chat on Twitch. But yes, I can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, it's not a treat, so he's not interested. He knows what... Well, he doesn't know where the treats are. He remembers where he's last been given a treat. There's like an arm of the sofa that he's constantly sat on the last couple of weeks because like for a day he got given a couple of treats from there. That's where the bag was. So we moved it so he wouldn't do that. Still, he's there begging. He loves his treats, but he's been on a... I think he's all right. Like I think some people commented when he turned up on the table. He's been on a diet for like... It seems like forever now. For a couple of years. I think he's like... He's pretty much at the weight he's meant to be at now. There's more I can say for me. Hey, that's Christmas. It was all intentional. I enjoyed every calorie. I'll sort it out. It's not a worry, is it? Yeah, he just knows that he's being woken up for something stupid. But there we go. That's what we want in the corner of the streams, isn't it? Rather than him downstairs begging for some food. Marty is... How old is Marty? I can find out. Did we get him in 2014? Let's have a look. Yes, 2014. So we got him well, he came home on the 28th of June 2014, and I think, is it 4 weeks old that they've got to be with their mum for a while, haven't they, before you can just take them home. But yeah, that's so he's coming up to 8 this year. I haven't got him on the big screen. You can see blurry little pictures of Tiny Marty. There's Tiny Marty. When my thumb got all cut open. And there's a nice little video of him seeing stairs for the very first time. You can see the reflection of some chat. I can't remember how much he weighs or how much he's meant to weigh. It is in his kind of vet folder and stuff, but he's like on a for the last couple of years or more, he's been on like a set amount of like, he gets these specific tins and this much weighed out food, which we always should have been doing, really. Like it's that thing of like, you think you're giving him the same amount, you think you're judging it like by eye with a scoop and stuff, and you realize actually he's getting way too much food. And like, I had a cat years ago that would stop eating when he was full. You could leave him a full bowl of dry food and he would just graze at it every now and then when he felt hungry enough, which, like, I think actually the vet did tell us actually when I said that that's abnormal, and cats usually they will just feast on things. That's what Marty does. Any food that's available, he'll try and eat it all. But I think, like, I don't think he was ever too big. Like, he wasn't, like, really over. But, like, he's an indoor cat as well, so it's harder, isn't it, for... He gets plenty of exercise, though. Even inside. He's heard that Rach is home now, so I think he'll be going down to investigate if treats are coming. You get a front row seats to... This is what he does when he's pretending not to be bothered about something. And also when he just wants to clean himself, of course. That's pretty much 80% of the time. Yeah, cats have got to be just water, right? If he was a tiny little thing. There's like pictures of him. I wish I took more pictures. And, as always, of things from years ago. Had a better camera for stuff. Like, there's pictures of him sat on my shoulder the first day that we got him. We should have just filmed everything from then and took a billion pictures. There's a load of nice pictures, but, like, he balloons up in size so quickly. Like, he's just kind of like lie on me side with his tongue out on the sofa. He doesn't do as much anymore because he's big and he can't really fit. He's not a little baby boy anymore. In a way, though, he always will be. But yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow with some Endless Winter at 4 p.m. GMT. And yeah, we'll be back with some more live streams and things in future weeks. Not quite sure what yet. I think Rach is here. Are you here, Rach?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
You're going to be on tons of live streams, aren't you, Rach?
No.
Everyone wants more Rach in 2023. We'll be streaming something. I'm not sure exactly what yet. I'd like to do some more Lands of Galzir. We just did one fresh chunk in September. But there's so much to show you, so much to discover. There's some Rach and a little bit of Marty as well. He thinks that food time is right now, but it's not. It's fairly close. This is when he's at his nicest, though.
Yeah.
When he thinks that some face rubs are going to get him fed. They will eventually. But yes, I'll be here tomorrow. Rach will be here at some point in the future. When we can. We'll let you know, though, there's a post on Patreon every Monday. Tends to be when there's not bank holidays and things. And yeah, there'll be games everywhere. There's great things. I need to make the vote post, don't I? Yes, that will be going up in a few minutes. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you pick. And hey, if you'd like to have a vote or just support the channel in general, there's patreon.com/slickerdrips is the place to go. I think it's linked in the description as well. And there's Ko-fi also, if you'd just like I don't know why I can't figure out where I'm supposed to point. There's Ko-fi as well if you'd like to donate on there. It's massively appreciated. And it's the reason that I can do any of the things. But for now, thanks everyone, and we'll see you very, very soon. Marty says bye as well. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.